Thank you, Board President Adams, Board President Brewer, Councilwoman Rosenthal, and everyone who's here. I'm not okay. I'm not okay today. I want to give everybody permission to say they are not okay. And I want to give the black community permission to say you're not okay. I woke up today with, what the fuck? I am tired. I'm tired. I have yet to watch the video of Ahmaud Arbery. It's too much. I have not watched the video of George Floyd. It's too much. For those who think falsely calling 911 on a black person have other fish to fry. Talk to George's family. Talk to Tamir Rice's family. Breonna Taylor, Eric Garner. Talk to their families and say if you have other fish to fry. Black people in general have to go to work the next day and pretend like they are all right. Black women in particular cannot say anything or they're viewed as angry black women. So not only do people get to piss on the community can't even say it's pissed. 31 years ago, not too far away, there was a horrific rape of a woman. And instead of going out to find the perpetrator who did that horror, they found any black man that they could and falsely accused them. Someone took out a full-page ad 31 years ago and said that those black men should be executed. That man is the president of the United States of America today. I am not okay today. That woman was so comfortable in her privilege that even being recorded, she felt like nothing would happen to her. And I saw as her false anger escalated toward the end when she realized she had to put more emphasis on an African-American person attacking her to get the response that she needed. I am not okay today. I really am not. We are trying to deal with tens of thousands of people dying from COVID, disproportionately in the black and brown community. There is no bigger fish to fry than the institution of racism and bigotry that is pervasive in every damn institution across this city, state, and this country, period. And to have an NYPD continually sit up there and say they don't have any discriminatory institution that they deal with, that nothing about them has to do with discrimination or racism. To then say we have bigger fish to fry, how dare you? How dare you? People are dying. They're dying.
Well said. And you know, you can't normalize pain.
And that, Brittany, is where we shall begin this week's episode of the DJ Ekin Podcast. Wow.
Yeah. I feel like just last week we were talking about, the same type of subject, how often this is happening. But, I mean, I want to ask you, how do you feel right now? Like today, honestly, like the day after, how do you feel?
I think what's crazy for me is, and let me articulate this as best as I can, because I've thought about this a while, because every time something like it's funny for me because it seems like at every instance I have somewhere been involved in this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and by that I mean, let me back up a second first off and welcome everyone to the DJ Ekin Podcast. For those of you who have been hitting me up and asking me last week where were Brittany and I, we kind of took a week off, and then Brittany and I, along with some people that help us kind of guide this thing, kind of decided to rebrand it. And with Brittany's blessing, we are now officially called the DJ Ekin Podcast. And of course, I cannot do it without the lovely Miss Gonzalez. I'm glad you're here.
Yes.
Yeah. And I honestly thought that this would be our normal, you know us. I mean, you know us, like, we don't, we've always said this, that we don't take ourselves like overly serious. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then these things start happening. So let me back up a little bit with what I was about to say when I say that a lot of these things I keep finding myself systematically in the middle of. And this is not even like I'm trying to place myself there. Let's back up all the way to the Kaepernick thing with the knee drop, right? With the on one knee. Kaepernick, of course, we know Colin Kaepernick, San Francisco 49ers quarterback, NFL. His whole purpose for kneeling during the national anthem, from what he said, was because it was to draw attention to the things that were happening to African Americans and brown people out, at the hands of the very people who were hired to protect and serve us.
Right.
He was drawing attention to that. Somehow, in the midst of the chaos, it became, with the Donald Trump push, that it was about disrespecting the flag, and it was about disrespecting our military people.
Yeah.
Now, when I say that I am somehow in the middle of that, I'm in the middle of that one in like three different ways. For one, I appreciate Colin Kaepernick as a black man because that's who he was standing up for. A chance, that kind of stuff happening to people who look like me. On top of that, my affiliation with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the official DJ. And then even on top of that, I'm an Air Force veteran. You understand what I'm saying? So here I am, a military guy that's black, that has served my country, and I'm affiliated with this league that, for all intents and purposes, I've got a pretty good relationship with the Bucs. I've got a pretty good relationship with the sports market here in Tampa Bay. But I do understand and I do appreciate what Colin Kaepernick was doing. You know what I'm saying? And of course, with that, it got turned into all this chaos. Now, my stance on that, and I went on social media and my platforms and I said it. Look, first of all, I'm a military dude, so I can speak on this. And not for once did I think that Colin Kaepernick was disrespecting me or disrespecting the flag. But you know what social media does. We jam it all up and we do what we want to do with it, right?
Right.
Then you watch some of these killings and you see Trayvon Martin. That's another story. Then you see Eric Gardner with the selling cigarettes and that sort of thing. And then we get to I want to get to George Floyd, but I want to start with the Central Park thing. I want to start with Amy Cooper in Central Park with the dog and that sort of thing. Honestly, outside of George Floyd losing his life, the Amy Cooper thing probably ate at me even more. And it ate at me more because she literally told him before she did it, I am going to get on this phone. I am going to call the police and I am going to tell them that an African-American man is I'm afraid for my life.
Right.
Now,
It's threatening her life.
Right.
Threatening her life.
And that right there was like, is this the world that we live in? That you can be totally wrong, but you can look at me and tell me, you know what, bro? You can't even talk to me right now. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to flip this whole thing on you, and you're going to be the one that is the problem.
Yeah. While being recorded, let's not forget. While being recorded.
And she went into a full-blown, like, I thought she was on stage.
Yes. Like, if you were just listening to that phone call, you would have thought she was being attacked. Her life was in danger. And we need to look for this African-American man.
Right. You thought he had the dog in one hand and her by the neck in the other hand.
Yes.
She almost could barely breathe. You thought she was in real distress if you close your eyes and listen to that call.
Yes.
Now, let me bring you home, Brittany, with why that call especially bothers me. Because it especially bothers me because I don't think that people that are not of color, that are not in a position that we feel like we have to do double and triple to prove that I'm a nice guy, to prove that I'm not hostile. Because even in the most simplest of environments, I've seen this happen. Now, give you this scenario. I'm working at an office a supervisor that is not my supervisor, but we work together, happens to be a Caucasian lady. Now, we are at a couple of job sites or whatever, and basically some things get said that are not true, but I wind up in a meeting with this Caucasian lady and both of our supervisor. Mm-hmm. You follow me so far?
Yeah.
Now, we're in this meeting. I allow her to talk first. And when she talks, I'm listening. As Dave Chappelle would say, she is clearly lying. She is clearly lying. I mean, the whole entire story from what she says she was told to how the night developed to everything in the incident, she is clearly lying.
Oof.
That's first. So if you know me and you've listened to this show, if you know me like Brittany definitely knows me, you know that I am passionate. Mm-hmm. I am passionate when I speak. If I believe in something, I am passionate. But what I do, and I try to practice this, is if I am speaking to you in my passion, I try not to curse at you. You're never going to get called out of your name. It's going to be a respectful but passionate conversation. Sure. So when it becomes my turn to speak, my passion is showing. Now, not once do I go, you're a this, you're a that. I am just speaking on the facts out of my passion. But I'm not yelling. It's passion. Mm-hmm. This woman stops me and says, Could you please lower your voice? You're what? You're what? Please tell me what you are right now. Right. So then I had to completely shift gears in the meeting. I go, well, you know what? I'm sorry if my passion is coming through, because perhaps you think that what you're saying in this meeting is more valid because your voice is softer. Not to mention that you're lying. But as long as we're on the subject about what people don't do, let's talk about how every time I email you with official business, you ignore my emails. And then when I put our supervisor on the email, you respond within 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. Whole meeting changes. And I bring up that point because in its simplest of forms, that's what is happening to us. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, this lady is in a meeting completely, blatantly lying, not doing her job at all, but she tries to shift it to like my passion is suddenly threatening. That ain't what this meeting is about. That ain't what this meeting is about. And when I look at that Central Park thing, that ain't what that confrontation should have been about. The confrontation was about you are out here with your dog running around when all of these signs say, have your dogs on a leash.
Yes. That sign didn't just get there. It's been there. It's known for that at that park.
Exactly. And then your privilege steps in and you go, you know what? I do what I want to do. And as a matter of fact, you're not even allowed to talk to me. And you know what? Since you are talking to me, I'm going to put you in your place. And by how am I going to do that? I'm going to call the authorities, who immediately are going to believe me.
Yep. And that's what she had in her mind. And you could tell she was like, yeah, I'm about to ruin your life. I'm going to ruin your life because I feel like it. That's it. That's all I saw when she was talking. Like, wow, this woman is willing to put this man's life in danger. And that's a real threat. Honestly, it was the equal to her pulling a gun out on him, to me. Right. Because his life was really in danger.
Boom. And when someone asks me, go, Ekin, why are you tired? Well, you know why I'm tired? Because I shouldn't have to make sure that my battery is fully charged so that I can make sure that I record this that the right story gets out.
See, Ekin, I didn't even think about that. And you're so right. You have to keep your phone charged for that alone as a black man. Absolutely.
This man not only had his phone running, his sister's phone was running. And he also told her, do not come close to me. And she still found a way to get on the phone and tell the police that she felt her life was in danger.
Yep. I know, Ekin. And when I saw that, I was like, that woman knew what she was doing. She was trying to get that man killed. Like, honestly, let's just go straight there. She had an intent to harm him. And she knew that the quickest and easiest way that she was going to make that happen was to make that phone call and make it seem like she was being a victim of an attack.
Right. And that's what 911 has become. And that's the sad state that we're in. Because if you call 911, no one, and I mean, I won't say no one, but 98.627% of black men do not feel safe once 911 is called and it's called on us. We do not feel like that the story is going to come out the right way.
Right.
At least I don't, and my circle of friends do not. And I do not have a circle of friends that are in trouble. I got a circle of friends that are like, career driven, and for the most part, I ain't gonna say they've never done nothing dumb. I ain't gonna say they never do something that's borderline. But for the most part, they are like law-abiding citizens. You know what I'm saying? Like on an everyday thing.
Right. It's still not it's still not an excuse to take their life. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like with George Floyd, the same thing. Do you know what the case was? Because it's different from different stories that you go into. And I'll just keep this real quick with that part because I know we're talking about Amy Cooper.
No, we can go to George. Go ahead.
So with George, there's 3 different reports that I'm seeing. One was that he used they kept saying forgery, but they wouldn't say what, right? It was just forgery. So one, it's like a check. He forged a check. The other one was that he had a counterfeit $20 bill. The other one was that he had a $10 counterfeit bill. Either way, whatever the story is, under none of those circumstances was that the reaction that he should have gotten, the treatment and the murder of his life because of that.
Here's the crazy thing about that. Again, if there is not a camera running, first of all, let's talk about the camera that the cops knew about. This dude stared into the camera, the cop that had his knee on his neck, like, so what? I mean, stared. This thing went on for 9 minutes at least, right? Yes. And he sat there like, so what? The camera's on me. I still ain't moving. Then think about this part, because I didn't, when this part happened, you see the first video, right? And we all saw it. You see the cop with his knee there. I see the Asian cop, right? Mm-hmm. This guy, my problem with this guy is, Brittany, look, if we're really friends, like we say that we are, if I'm doing something wrong, I should be happy when you tell me that I'm wrong.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? If I'm a real friend. How is this guy his partner, or how is this guy trained properly in the police force, and he does not turn around and see that something is wrong here?
Right, and nor did he care. Not even that, because he did turn around a couple of times. But did you hear the comments he was making? Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. Making an excuse, like in his mind, that behavior, that abuse on George Floyd was okay because he was on drugs or because of drugs. Again, not a reason that anyone should have to die or lose their life. But he kept saying that, and it was like this confidence of like, no, who cares? Like if he dies, he dies. His life doesn't matter. It didn't matter. A human did not matter.
You know what? You know what's really crazy about that, and you think about this, and we're gonna dive deeper into the George thing because I'm still like the phone thing is I'm still into that even more, right? But on a whole nother spectrum, do you remember way back the kid who went in the church? He went to the church. There were like 9 people in the church, 9 black people in South Carolina, and they were having like a church service. And when he came to the door, they let him in because it's church. They're welcoming, and he killed them all. He killed them all, and I want to say his name was Dylan Ruth or something like that. If I'm wrong, right? Yes. Okay, so it's the South Carolina church. He killed all those people. When they caught that dude, do you know what he got? He got a ride to the station, and he said he was hungry. They stopped at Burger King and got him something to eat.
Stopped at Burger, and I like literally, I boil for y'all. Like I just cannot believe this is real shit, real life right now that's been happening on record.
Like he had no bruises. He didn't even have like bruises on his wrists from them putting the handcuffs on him. We got him. Oh, you hungry, dude? Hold up. I know you're gonna go in for capital murder, but you know what? One last Burger King meal ain't gonna hurt. You want cheese on that?
How is that not also like how do you not see that was hate fueled? That's why they did that. Like those officers, I don't even know what happened to them. But yes, exactly. Why would in what state of your mind are you thinking, yes, you know what, I will treat this person to a nice meal? Because it is. Right. I don't care if it's McDonald's or Burger King. That was an amazing meal that he was probably never gonna have. Well, he didn't even get freaking that much time in jail either. Right. Did he?
Now, that whole part of the story was enough for me right there. Right. So now we bounce back to George Floyd, right? And again, here we go with, man, we're gonna need some more angles of this. We're gonna need some more angles of this story, right? So then I realized that it's not just that cop, because now comes a picture and there are actually 4 cops. There's the 3 that are holding George down and the 1 cop that's walking around. So you're telling me out of 4 police officers, nobody could say that this was wrong. So we back up a little bit, we back up again, and folks ask me, Ekin, why would this bother you so much? Why are you mad? Why are you this? Well, let's think back to Rodney King. Think about Rodney King, right? 51 times he was hit with that baton while he was down. And get this, the craziest thing about the Rodney King thing to me is not so much that he got beat, and not so much either that he got caught on film. It's that all of those police officers, when they went back to the station, when no one knew that there was a video, no one wrote in their report like anything was wrong. Nobody. Like, it's like me and you right now. We do all this stealing, me and you and 6 other people, and nobody comes back and goes, dude, we were wrong. That's how they did it. When they went back to the station, everybody wrote their report. It was nothing out of the ordinary had happened. Right. And that is the problem right there. It's like, if we don't, it's like as a black person, if I don't have a camera, is anything going to be fair?
Exactly. It's not. And that's the thing. That's why it's like those people who recorded George Floyd, thank goodness. Then you have the surveillance camera from before, because they said he resisted arrest. Turns out he never resisted from beginning to end. Right.
And here's the crazy thing about that. The guy who owns the restaurant, his name is Rashad West, right? That dude was on CNN last night. So I watched him. He said actually his restaurant was closed that day, but his phone was blowing up. Like, he didn't know what was going on. Just so happened, here's kind of how we got that footage. The FBI, from what I understand, was gathering all the footage, right? They had gotten the footage from the other businesses around him. The guy who used to own that place before him, he was also on CNN last night. I forgot his name, but they had called him. He happened to call that owner and was like, yo, what's up with that footage? He goes, well, actually, the FBI are at my door, like, right now. He was like, yo, hold on. Don't do anything before I get there. And then some kind of way, whatever legal or whatever happened, he was able to not give up the footage before he was able to get it out to the press people and like that. So that's how we're seeing the whole uncut story.
Oh,
you understand what I'm saying?
Oh my God, that makes me so angry.
Right. And here's the craziness about seeing the uncut story that also bothers me, since you're asking what bothers me. Having the whole story out there, it really doesn't mean anything to me. You know why? Because I've seen the cops that beat Rodney King get off with video, because evidently someone saw something else. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I see, I got the Trayvon Martin story, right? The whole Trayvon Martin story, right? Let's just back up to another example. He was harassed the entire time. And then when they finally get in a fight, he starts winning. And then when he's winning, the stand your ground law comes in, and oh boy gets off. I'm not even going to say his name. He gets off because by then his life was in jeopardy. So I understood the trickery of the law. But if you're not bothering Trayvon Martin, if you're not following him, if you're not harassing him on his way home, you guys are never in a fight.
Right. Exactly.
But through a technicality, we've lost another young black boy. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't even feel like the angles of these videos help me, because I feel like I have to go through all of this just to maybe get a fair shot.
Yeah.
And that's why when I say that I'm tired, when I text you this morning that I'm tired, when I post to social media and I say I'm tired, I should not have to, in a country that I've been to war for, I should not have to go through all of these hoops just to get something fair. Just be fair. Me personally as a black man, you ain't got to give me nothing extra. Just be fucking fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to. Look, man, if it costs such and such and I want it, I will pay for it. I work hard enough. I don't need anything for free that you wouldn't give anybody else. Just be fair. Right.
And I know, Ekin, I know that's like, it sounds so simple. Like, if you're asking, for just let's all be kind of equal, treated equal, fairly. And it's just this, yeah. I always get like at a loss for words because I'm so angry, and it's like I can't help but just understand that you as a black person, anyone in the black community, why you would be so angry, why you would feel like, the world is against you, because it is in so many ways.
Look, man, and I want to make sure I put this out there too. I haven't seen it all because I've been running around all day before we recorded, and I know that there's a bunch of, it started out as, I guess, peaceful protest in Minneapolis that has now turned into looting and rioting and all this other stuff. What I don't want, and I was able to see this, with the Rodney King stuff. I was younger, but I was able to see this, is like we wind up tearing up our own. We've got to stop doing that as a people. Like when we tear up this stuff, we tear up our own, and that's not how you get the point across to me. You know what I'm saying? So that part about it, I'm not championing that part. I'm not a fan of tearing up my own neighborhood to prove a point. I'm not a fan of burning down my own stuff. I'm not even a fan of like looting places that I go to. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, like, if something happened, I don't see a need for me to go loot Target to prove that point.
No, absolutely not. But you know what? Seeing those protesters out on the street and the police cars on fire, I was honestly, look, I'm not even for riots. I'm not for violence, but I understand, dude, these people are angry, and they should be. And it happened right in their town. That video of that police officer, if you watch the entire thing from beginning to end and you don't feel moved, you don't feel like this is so wrong, how have they not been arrested? You don't feel like you completely have been like let down. There's no justice. So that anger, all of that, to me, I'm like, you know what? If they needed a day of that to do that, do it. And I don't care what that sounds like, because you know what? It's not okay. And if it happened to someone in my community, a Mexican person, I might be out there too, lighting some things on fire. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. It does get crazy because, like, and it's funny how a lot of my life relates back to hip hop. Like Ice Cube said this a long time ago, like you can't keep doing this kind of stuff to people and not expect something to erupt. You understand what I'm saying? Like something is going to erupt and something is going to go bad. But I always feel like this. When it goes bad, though, it gives them another reason to do more to us. You understand what I'm saying? Like you look at it like this. Look at all these people that are protesting that want to go outside, right? And they're up in the police face yelling and telling them this and telling them that. And there's never any crazy violence. You understand what I'm saying? And then the minute something like this happens and it's a black and brown community, it gets crazy. And I don't want to see more of us hurt, more of us, what I'm saying, put in jail for something like this and we have to find a way. Like, I don't know what that way is just yet. Right. I don't. But what I don't want is more people that look like me locked up. I don't want more people that look like me.
Exactly. You're right.
Because in the confusion, in the confusion, it always seems to be when the stats come out, there are more of us that are locked up. There are more of us that are hurt, and more videos come out. Now all of a sudden the story switched. Look what they did. Look at the animals. I don't want that. So I and again, I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer to what should happen. I just know I hate that part of the narrative.
Yeah, I know. But then, so then also this, how did you feel about seeing this part? When you see, at least I would say, I couldn't count because it was at night, but there had been about 100, if not more, police officers lined up in unison, like arm to arm, in front of the officer that killed George Floyd, in front of his house, protecting him because people were there outside. Now, I don't know if they were there to do real harm or maybe to taunt him. They're angry. Absolutely. Yes. But you have to send 100 officers out there? Are you you are protecting this one person? Like, to me, that sends the worst message to that community right there. It's like, we do not care about George Floyd. That is not our priority. We are more concerned with this man who killed him, protecting him. And we're going to send out about 100 officers? Like, you can think about that in that small town, I don't know if it's small, I'm sorry. But in that town, to send 100 officers to one location. Think about the money, the calls that were probably, that of other people who needed help, who needed deputies, but there they are standing outside someone's house that just murdered someone. Right.
No, and again, and what's funny is I just saw that, I just read that story maybe an hour or so ago. And again, eats at me is like an understatement. You understand? Because you are exactly right. This guy with 4 other officers, no one even looked to protect George Floyd. You know what I'm saying? Like we got 3 other officers that are right there, and no one even made a move, even with an EMS person saying, this is going wrong. Right. This is going wrong. And then from another thing, aren't the police listed as first responders?
Yes.
So if a guy is going, I can't breathe, where is your response?
There was none. There was none.
Right. So there's so many different layers to this. And again, like I said, I mean, the guys in front of the house, what's so crazy about me right now is my feelings on that is I didn't expect anything less. I didn't. Like, I don't even, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how you just say, I bet this is what happens next? That's how I felt. When I found out, you know, once people knew where he lived at and it was on the news and people were writing murder on the street in front of his house. Like, nobody had did anything to his actual house, but on his drive, stuff like that. My next response, I'm talking to my barber. Yo, bro, they about to line up at his house like he's the president. You know what I'm saying? And sure enough, like you said. So that stuff, it doesn't even surprise me. You know, like my question right now that's running around is, who's going to protect us from them?
Right.
You know, that's my, and not for once and I've said this before, my uncle was a cop. Not once do I think that every cop is bad, you know, but those 4 that were in Minneapolis right there, there's something wrong with those 4.
Absolutely. And okay, they were fired. You know that first they were put 2 of them on where they didn't have administrative leave. Yes, and they didn't have to do any they couldn't do a law enforcement work, but they were still going to get paid. Crazy. Then when everything went viral, that's when they fired them. Still no arrest. So what do we do, Ekin? Well, I have the DA's number, which I called today. So the DA is Mike Freeman, right? And he's the DA for over there. And that's where you call and you tell them, like, this is like, we want justice. George Floyd died. These 4 officers need to be charged. So I called them today and this woman answers, right? And my heart is like pumping because I'm like, you know, I have so much to say. Where do I even start? You know, I don't want to take it out on this woman. I don't know if she's part of it. I don't know. So she answers and I'm like, hi, I'm looking for Mike Freeman to talk about George Floyd and these 4 officers that murdered him. You know, I want to know, are they being charged? Is that in the process? What's going on with that? And she's like, I don't have that answer, but I can transfer you over to someone who could. So she transfers me and I was thinking she wasn't going to do it. She did. To Mike Freeman. Rings a few times, right? And I'm like, all right, here we go. Boom, I get a voicemail, like leave a message. We'll get back to you in email. But it was for him. It was Mike Freeman. Now, a few hours later, I don't get no email, nothing. So I call back. 2 rings. It doesn't even ring. Actually, no, it doesn't ring. It doesn't ring. Oh, wow. It just like gets sent, not even sent to a voicemail, nothing. It just hangs up.
Oh yeah, they're working on that line. They don't want those calls.
But you know what? That's how we do this, man. And it's like, you know, these conversations that you now have to have with the young Black men. Like, did you see that meme? It was not a meme, I'm sorry, but like in the form of a meme where it's a picture of a parent, a Black parent talking to their Black child about how, you know, when you go out into the world, how you now have to act. And when you encounter a police officer, like, don't reach for your phone to call me. Don't do that because that could, you know, cost you your life. Just comply. That's all it said. If you're right or you're wrong, it doesn't matter. Just comply with the police and that's how you'll live. Like
Right. But that isn't really how you'll live, because here's the thing about that. And that's why I say every time I hear one of these things, it kind of hits home a little bit. Like, this didn't happen to me, but remember the guy, and I don't remember his name, but he was in the car with his girlfriend and he was licensed to carry a gun. Yeah. And he's got his daughter in the back and his fiance goes on Facebook Live and the officer goes, I need to see your identification. He says to the officer, I am licensed to carry a gun and I do have it on me, but I am reaching to get my wallet because you want my identification. Remember now, you want my identification. And when he reaches, the officer let go on him with about a good 3 or 4 in front of his daughter, in front of his fiance, and she's on Facebook Live. So again, when you comply, still, what do we do? So right now we've got examples of the guy in the car complied. Trayvon Martin was going home after going to 7-Eleven, paying for what he was supposed to be doing, going back to his dad's house, minding his own business. We got George Floyd. Okay, if he did commit a crime, like you said, it was worth $20, even if it was worth $100. Now we also know he was not fighting or resisting arrest, right? So he complied. Right, he complied, and he still did. We got a guy in the park who is following the rules and letting another person in the park know that, hey, these are the rules and we're trying to respect everybody here.
Yeah.
And not only, here's another thing about that dog story. Not only did he let her know that it wasn't right what she was doing, he did direct her to where she could go and let her dog roam free.
Oh, wow. And
Because
I think
there's
he even needed to do that.
Right. And then wait, and even on another side of this story, how much more do we have to do? This guy was on the news, and his last name is Cooper too, and I'm so sorry that it escapes me. He's now come out going, because he's a good person at heart, this is gonna get you. I don't think her life should be ruined. That's the compassion that he has.
No, her life should be ruined. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, she tried to ruin his. She tried to take his. That's how serious I take that. She lied, and she was gonna stick with that lie. And she felt confident enough to put him in a very dangerous situation. She had no regard for his life. I have no regard for hers. No, absolutely not. That was calculated. That was evil, Ekin. No.
Yeah.
I hope that they always mess with her. I hope that they always at least make her feel like, yeah, she should be constantly in fear for her life. I'm not saying they should do anything to her,
right?
But make her know that, yeah, she's not going to just live her best life from now on. You did this to yourself.
Is it just me, or should people like her, shouldn't they also be charged?
That's what I'm saying. Yes, she needs to be charged. Fired 100%. Charged 1,000%. There needs to be new laws written about that. When you lie, or is there laws not in place? Or maybe, you know what I'm saying? When you lie on someone, you're caught on camera lying. That woman, seriously, if there was no footage, you don't know where that would have went. And I highly doubt in his favor. So yeah, she should be charged for something. I don't know what, but whatever's the maximum sentence we could charge her with, let's do that. You
know what I love too about that is when she comes out later on, she goes, I am not a racist. I meant that man no harm. Well, please tell me, what were you trying to accomplish? When you were on the phone in that full-blown performance of, my life is in danger, I need help right now, please tell me, what were you looking to do there? Like, you didn't mean him any harm, then please tell me, because if I'm standing there, I'm trying to figure out, well, what could you be, what are we doing here? You don't mean me any harm, then what do you mean me here? Because you're look, and Dave Chappelle comes back to the line again, you're clearly lying. What could you mean here? You don't mean me any harm, then what do you mean me?
Ekin, like, I gave up my fighting days, but I'm ready to get back in them for this one. Okay, let me catch her on the street. She's getting these hands and these feet.
Brittany, when I say I'm tired, this is why I'm tired. And honestly, you know me, Brittany. Like, I've been working on being Johnny Optimistic this last 18 months, and I think I've been doing a fairly good job. But when you look at all these different instances, and again, we're not even finished. We're not even finished, Brittany, because on a whole nother flip side of that, as we continue this journey, when people ask me, Ekin, why are you tired? Let's talk about Patricia Ripley. Do you know who that is?
Patricia Ripley, inform me.
Let me give you who Patricia Ripley is. Patricia Ripley lives here in Florida. Patricia Ripley has a 9-year-old son named Alejandro.
Yes.
Alejandro is autistic, right?
Yeah.
So Alejandro dies in a lake here in Florida. But let me give you some backstory, because you and I kind of talked about this before. My problem with Patricia Ripley is Alejandro died in a lake. And do you know what story Patricia Ripley told the police?
You know what I do, but you tell it better.
She told the police that a black man committed the crime, that a black man did that to him, that a black man is the reason he drowned in a lake. Now, when I first got this story, I knew that she had actually drowned him in the lake. But what I didn't know that makes this even more tragic than the fact that she blamed it on a black man. She tried to drown this kid twice. She didn't succeed.
Yes. Yes.
The kid is 9. He's autistic. The video, again, we have to have a video running. Or we are in, if I don't get if I don't keep the batteries running, if I don't keep the electrical power running, I'm done for here, man. I'm as a black man, it's a wrap for me.
Yeah.
They have video now of the first time that she pushed the kid in the lake. She pushed the kid in the lake, and then The performance went on because she went and got help. And then when he came back, she brought the guy back. They saved the kid the first time.
Oh.
And because the kid can't talk, though he's autistic, he's not able to articulate anything that happened to him.
Oh my God.
So she's got the whole performance going. Thank you. We saved my son, only to take him to another lake and actually succeed in killing him.
Oh my God. So
Now,
sick.
Please tell me, first of all, how did a black man get involved in that?
Exactly. You know what?
Exactly.
So what was in her mind that told her, you know what? I'm gonna lie, and the specific lie that she told, was it one or two black men? Did she say did it?
I think it was black men. I think it was a couple.
Yes, but still, the fact that she thought, oh, I should say it is a man, also a black man. So now you have police on the streets looking for black men to fit this description.
Exactly.
And had they not had video, I mean, come on. There's real wrong sentencing so much. There was a guy just now on America's Got Talent. He was in prison for like 37 years on a rape charge that he never did. And they finally, with new technology, ran his fingerprints, and the fingerprints that were at the crime scene, and they matched with some like serial rapist for years. For years, they just never ran his fingerprints on the database.
Look, man, if we can go all the way back to Emmett Till, the little boy who supposedly whistled at the white lady, and then he got so beat up and killed so badly that they wanted to have a closed casket. His mom was like, no, we're gonna see him. But we can go all the way back to, speaking of this whole drowning thing, you may or may not remember Susan Smith in South Carolina that got on TV and cried and didn't know where her two kids were, and come to find out she had her two boys strapped in their car seats and let the car go on a lake in South Carolina. And she was on TV crying, saying that a black man carjacked her.
Ekin.
Brittany, and there was no video back then. Luckily enough, they pressed her enough that because her story had so many holes in it. There was no stoplight where she supposedly got jacked at. Why would she be there? You know what I'm saying? And with pressing her in, interrogation, they got to the real thing of, okay, my kids are in this lake. I actually put my car in neutral, rolled them in there alive in their car seats.
Oh my God. And yeah.
And that is why I'm tired, Brittany. That right there is why.
Again, I know. And that's why it's like so hard to be, keep like these high spirits, or, to even as just being a friend to you. You know what I mean? Like, look, when I saw that video of George Floyd, I cried throughout the video. I screamed. I was so angry, and going back to work the next day, I was like, not okay, honestly, mentally. I'm like, how can I just go back or post to social media, like everything's fine and cool and funny, and like, no, man, did we just watch this man get murdered? Not even that. I think the special thing about in George Floyd's case was that it was, and I know it's always blatant in so many videos, but with George Floyd, it was just like, you cannot argue the fact that this man's knee on his neck for over 8 minutes, that anything was justified by that through even law enforcement, their techniques, their procedures of what they're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you watch this man for 8 to 9 minutes, which is a very long time when you're feeling like you're suffocating, let alone just watching something like that.
Right.
So, yeah. So it's just like, again, how do you get back? How do you just go on with your day, especially as a black person? Like, how are you mentally okay? You can't be.
But you know what, though? At this point, though, I used to worry about being like, okay. Now I'm going to tell people I'm not okay because I have a right to not be okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. 5 years ago, I would be like, because, I work around many different people. I'm in many different environments, and I'm not mad at everybody. You understand what I'm saying? It's like right now we're in this big uproar about the term Karen. People know who Karen is. They know who Karen is. They know when they run into a Karen. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so it's not everybody, you know what I'm saying? And that's a point, a whole nother point to discuss. But I'm okay today with not being okay. And if you ask me, I'll tell you, and I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you why I don't want to deal with the garbage today. I don't want to, and I may not be okay tomorrow.
Right.
I don't necessarily feel safe around the ones who are put here to serve and protect us. And
Yeah.
Being in my position of being in the media, being a DJ, being out here in the environment, I can't really say I've had a lot of problems, but I will say this, that when I've been pulled over for whether it's my tent's too dark or I'm in a car that goes, oh, what's he doing in that car? You understand what I'm saying? Like, I've watched people stare at me when I walk in a jewelry store. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be like, like my card will be okay in here. You know what I'm saying? But, I've watched myself walk in a room where people go, how's he in this room? And it's crazy. And it's sad that in 2020, this is the conversation we're having. We're having this conversation, not about things that happened 10 years ago, not about things that happened 5 years ago. We're talking about things that have happened within the last 5 days, 5 weeks. And we're in 2020. We're in the middle of a global pandemic where we're trying to get a cure for for tens of thousands of people dying. But yet somewhere within here, I got a guy getting killed while jogging. I got a guy getting killed over what amounts to $20 and not resisting arrest. I got a lady calling the cops on a guy in the park and she is clearly wrong.
Right.
And a whole performance and putting a brother's life in jeopardy. I got a lady with 2 attempts on her kid's life, succeeding the second time. And like you said, well, who do I blame this on that the cops will immediately believe? Oh, a black man. Yeah. That is 2020. And I'm okay with not being okay. And I don't even have a solution. That's what's so crazy. Normally I got these bright ideas. I'm like, Brittany, this is what we could do. But I really don't know what else to do. I look at that George Floyd thing, right? And I've watched it several times. And, I'm a devil's advocate. I look at things and I go, all the things that people are going to say about this, I was trying to see. What can you, why, that's one of those things that you go, we need a trial for this? Like, what evidence needs to come in to make the DA go, I should file murder charges against these police officers? Because let me tell you something, Brittany, if that would have been me and you and two of our other friends, even though my knee would have been on the person's neck, I'm locked up and you guys are locked up for being complicit to the crime.
Yep.
Because that's what happens when I watch First 48. Everybody who was in that room or everybody who was in that car, they're all going to jail.
Exactly. So all those 4 officers, I need that same energy for them.
Yeah. And so when you ask me, am I okay? No. But do I know what's going to make me okay? I don't. I really don't. And it's also crazy too because, and I'm sure you saw these memes, it brought Colin Kaepernick right back to the forefront because it's like, so which knee bothers you more?
Right. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that knee.
Yeah. Which knee bothers you more? Colin Kaepernick kneeling for what he told you was a damn good reason, or this guy 8-9 minutes on another guy's neck that's clearly pleading for his life, that's telling you, I can't breathe.
I'm so disgusted, Ekin. I just I just don't wish well upon those people. I really don't. And I hope that justice is served, and I mean really served. And I know that there's no real justice, but at the same, I just don't want him living freely out on the streets, being able to make his own decisions. At least jail. All of them. Those the Patricia, whatever her name is, with the kids and all of them, all the ones that accused and lied. I want them all put away.
You know how as a black man, I really feel, even on a deeper note,
What?
I feel like if that cop would have been abusing a dog in that video, it'd be more of an uproar than it is right now. Oh my
God.
I swear. That's really how I feel. I feel like if that cop would have been abusing a dog in that video, this country would be turned upside down right now.
And you might not be wrong, Ekin. Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
So, with that being said, Brittany, I don't, again, I still don't know. I don't even maybe in the next few days we'll get a solution. We'll come back on the next episode and be like, oh, there's a solution. We've got the problem fixed. But in all honesty, I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, what we can continue to do is keep those people out of positions like that and make sure that they are homeless, end up homeless, and we just need to take all of their rights away. So that's how it begins. Those officers need to be charged. Patricia needs to be charged. Karen in the freaking park at Amy Cooper needs to be charged. We just got to call for these things, and they don't happen until the masses ask for it. Like, I follow Sean King, and Sean King is always posting about, if there's one injustice, he'll post about it, and then he updates us. And I always see, the outrage, it causes these cases to begin to open, to their charges to be filed. Like, that is how we impact. That is how we get those people who aren't supposed to be in those positions. We get them out. And that's all we do is when we find them, we need to exterminate them out of their jobs. I know, Ekin, but I just feel like that's something, I don't have the answer either, but I don't want them to be happy.
I appreciate, your words of encouragement, and I do. I mean, there's got to be a solution, but like I said, when you're on this side of the fence, you're going, man, like, I just saw this like a week ago. I just, like I said, you think about it, like, our last show before we decided to take a little bit of a break, we were talking about an unarmed jogger getting hunted down pretty much.
That's
Ahmaud Avery. We were talking about him unarmed, jogging in a neighborhood he actually lived in, and pretty much hunted down. And here we are again. We're not even 2 weeks later, and in the past 5 days, we've had three or four different incidents that happened in different ways, but they all come back to you're sitting there looking in the mirror going, what? So, like I said, I don't want to sound unoptimistic. It's just that. But
now.
Right. You talk about our sons, you talk about our nephews, you talk about our little cousins, you talk about the next generation. What more can you tell them? One of the points you made earlier is like, you're telling them to comply. A guy jogging in his own neighborhood, that's complying. You get hunted down by people who aren't police, who have no business telling you what to do, and they kill you. And we have to go on a full blown uproar, bring in the FBI for them to get arrested. Like you said, then we'll go back to the park incident. We're complying by the rules, and we're letting others know that they're not complying. What happens? He's getting arrested. Okay, yeah, he may have done something that he needs to get arrested for, but again, he was complying, and he's gone. So when you're talking about the next generation, when you're talking about what to tell our sons, when you're talking about that talk to have, with our sons and our daughters about how things can go wrong or escalate quickly, and these kids in the internet, if they Google it, they go, well, these people complied, mom, dad, look where they at. So why do I need to comply? If I comply, this could happen to me too. Which is probably, like you said, how we get what's happening in Minneapolis right now. It's like, yo, we'll burn this town down. You know what I'm saying? Because following the rules, look where that got us.
Right. And that it's like, I could go on about that, reacting when you've been, poked at, when it's been instigated, provoked, when, you know what I'm saying? Those reactions, like, they're real, they're raw, they're real. I can't be upset about that. I'm more upset about George Floyd's death than I am about those riots. That's what I'm really upset about.
Right.
The Ahmaud Arbery, I'm more upset about that. Okay, right. So some things caught on fire, so some things, the riots, whatever, the protests, all of that, it happened. Well, here we are. Now we can shift, maybe. I don't know. But I love you, and I love everybody, and I just want everybody to love each other. If we work on that fear part, because I think that a lot of it, too, is like, for some reason, Black people are feared. I don't know why people think y'all are dangerous or something. I don't get it, Ekin, but it's real.
I don't know what to do about that.
I don't know either.
Because I think that they're more, I think that, like you said, that lady in the park was just as dangerous. She was even
yes. Yes.
Because she feels a certain power to call assistance. You know what I'm saying? So as far as the fear thing, like to me, a lot of times that's brought on on your own.
But you know what else too, Ekin, is that, and remember, this was like Miss Tina Lawson, Beyonce's mom, reposted a video of Rihanna doing a speech when she got this award. She was doing a speech, and she was like, y'all all enjoy the culture. You have friends that are in the culture, So when it's time, like this, when injustices happen, pull up for us too in those moments, because you're there for our music, our culture, everything else. But when we need your help, everybody needs to pull up. And I agree, same energy, no matter what race it is, what culture it is. If it's an injustice, like Martin Luther King said, it's an injustice to us all.
I think that's a good place to leave it, Brittany. Yeah. That's a good place to leave it. I'm tired, though. I really am.
I know.
Well, I appreciate you, and hopefully we can have a less somber edition.
I know.
Next episode.
I hope so too. I was gonna say we will, but damn you world, and damn you Karens out there.
I love you, Brittany.
I love you too.
Appreciate everybody rocking with us on the DJ Ekin Podcast, and of course, I can't do this without the lovely Brittany Gonzalez. Brittany, where can they find you at on social media?
Oh, I just changed my handle. Follow me, Brunch with Brittany.
Oh, you know what? Can I tell you something?
Wait.
Let me tell you something. I was mad at you.
Why?
Because let me, and this will probably end us on a good note. So I go on Instagram to post about us. I go, to post about our show, and I don't know what I was thinking. It was something I was going to post, either that we were taking the week off, and that we'd be back or something, or that something that was going on. But I go to use your old handle, Basic Bridge. And when I punch up Basic, normally you just pop up.
Right.
And nothing's there, right? Nothing's there. So I search you out. And when I hit the page, you know how when you block somebody, it goes no post, nothing like that, right?
Yeah.
And I go, she blocked me? For what? like, I'm really like,
all in your feelings for no reason. Go on.
Yo, Brittany, I thought of everything that we could have disagreed on in the last 6 months. And I was like, yo, like, what up? Don't you remember you got a text me and I was just like, yo, you not talking to me or something like that? That's what that was about. Because I literally was like, but because you don't respond for 2 days, you don't really care. You know what I'm saying? So
I was going through it.
That's a whole other story, right? So I'm on this side and I'm like, yo, I swear I asked my brother. I sent him a screenshot. I asked Reezy. I sent Reezy a screenshot.
Oh my God.
I'm like, yo, like, and I was telling him, I said, yo, I just spoke to her yesterday because we went over what we were going to do with the show. And I just talked to you the day before. And I'm like, I haven't even talked to her for her to want to block me.
I would never block you.
Right. But you know who we can thank? And I'll give him a shout out. Shouts out to Jay. Because when I hit Jay, my brother Jay, who everybody, if you knew, Jay's my brother. I hit Jay and I'm like, yo, Jay, like, yo, you see this? So I sent him the screenshot, bruh. That's all I say. And he hits back with the laughter, like, are you blocking? Because that's our line. Right? And some kind of way he figures out that you've changed your handle. I don't know what he did, but he found the new handle, right? Brunch with Brittany, right? He found that. He was like, bruh, it says she's following you. I'm like, what? So then when I finally go to that one, I realized that you've just changed your handle. But for about a good 30 minutes, yo, I called you probably about 14 different names in like that 30-minute span. You want to hear what some of them were? No? Yes?
Yeah, let's hear it.
No, that's okay. We don't want to take our, now that I know you didn't actually block me. But yeah, like,
I love how you sent screenshots to everybody, but didn't just call me and pick up the phone. Like,
I text you. You didn't respond for 2 days.
I kind of like the drama I was creating in your head.
So don't act like I just did these things and I didn't give you a chance. I hit you. Matter of fact, I hit you twice in that same night, and you didn't respond for 2 days.
I wonder who else is feeling like this right now, because I haven't told anyone. I just changed it. Maybe now I should. Ekin, if I blocked you, you'll know, because you'll get a message. You're blocked. I will let you know. I will announce it. I will put a story. I'll leave it up for a few hours. Make sure you see it.
How can I see it if you block me?
Well, before I'm blocking DJ Ekin, letting you know when you're seeing this. Double tap. Let me know so I can block it, as you say.
Hey, and
But
but wait a minute. I ain't your man, but let me give you this visual. You ever had a dude show up at your door with a onesie on with the feet in it? Talking about, hey, let me in here. Let me in here. I'm that guy. Block me and see what happens. I'm going to show up at your crib. Matter of fact, with my Christmas onesie on.
Oh, wow.
It's like all red with green feet. Like it's all red with green feet and it's got green things on the wrist. If you can get that picture. And I'm going to show up at your door like, Brittany, you blocking me, huh? That's what's going to happen. So
and I'm gonna hold my phone to the window and it's going to be like DJ Ekin blocked. Okay, just so you can see it.
All I'm saying to you is that whenever you want that energy, block me. Go ahead, just block me. If you want some Christmas in July energy, block me in July. Go ahead, just block me in July.
Let's do this. I've been bored anyway.
Obviously, you're not bored drinking out of that cup. That's a whole nother story right there. We'll save that one for another day. Who's even on that cup anyway?
It's Dr. Fauci, my doctor.
Can we talk about him soon? Because I'm hearing that he's not all he's built up to be.
Man, let me tell you something. Those are haters, and we will get into that.
Yeah, because I'm hearing Dr. Fauci ain't all he's built up to be. We need
Where'd
to
you get this fakenews.com?
Yeah, we just need to get the backstory on him. I just need some clarity. That's all I'm saying. All right. So where can they find your new Instagram handle that almost got a dude at your door with a onesie on?
Brunch with Brittany.
And why brunch with Brittany? What was wrong with Basic Bridge?
Well, because I have my podcast and I'm just trying to like do, all the branding together and get everything on one page. And it's Brunch with Brittany. It's a vibe. It's a mood. And that's what we're going with. You
know what's funny? Well, you know what I find funny about that? And I thought we were going to leave here is when I asked you about, the DJ Ekin podcast, you immediately ran to your favorite phrase. Here goes another man trying to ruin my life. And I was just talking to you about branding. When I was talking about branding, I got whatever, it's here goes another man trying to ruin my life.
No, I love the DJ Ekin podcast. I love it.
Well, I'm glad because I wouldn't have done it without your blessing.
Well, you got it.
As always, you can find us wherever you get your podcast fixed at. All right. And of course, I am on every platform at DJ Ekin, except for YouTube, which is DJ Ekin TV, which is where you can find the video version of this episode. All right.
Oh, I love that.
All right. Shouts out to Radio Influence. Jason, we love you. And please be well. I'm gone.
All right. Bye.